Morning. Today is the 15th day of Kislev, and we are in the week where we read the Torah portion of Vayishlach. In Vayishlach, we find that Jacob, Yaakov, our patriarch, is heading back to Israel after more than 2 decades away up north in the Turkey, Iraq area, and he's coming back because he ran away because his twin had vowed to kill him, Esav, and now he's coming back and he's going to be meeting Esav. And the Torah tells us that Yaakov was afraid. He was scared, which is a normal instinct because Esav was a very rough, murderous type. He had, the Torah tells us, 400 armed men with him. And, just in the basics of trying to pick odds in this battle, they weren't in favor of a Jacob. And he was scared. The problem with that is that God, Hashem, had told him before, years before, I will guard you. I will keep you safe. So if God speaks to you, and you're sure, and God says, I, master of the world, who run the world, I am management, I'm going to keep you safe, what is there to fear? And the Talmud tells us that Yaakov was afraid that over these past 2 decades, maybe his behavior hadn't been totally up to snuff. And therefore, he was kind of removing himself, unplugging himself from God's blessings. So he was, in his approach to Esav, he was being very self-analytical to say, to search himself for where he might have been more lax than he should have, to be able to strengthen himself and put himself in a better position to receive God's blessings. And the Medrash points out that the Jews in the time of Purim, when they first heard about Haman's evil decree to destroy them all, they also were afraid. And there, it was seen as a negative. Whereas in Jacob's case, it's actually not seen as a negative. And what the Mendy is pointing out is that when I see a deficiency in myself, there are 2 ways for me to go. The Jacob way is to say, oh my gosh, I think there's something, I slipped up, or I know I slipped up. And therefore, that has to energize me to say, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to be a better person. So seeing a flaw is actually my friend, in the sense that it empowers me to know what's wrong. It empowers me to be able to see a facet of my personality that's not where it needs to be. And it's energizing me to do something about it. Maybe the pain and the fear, the energy, is something that's a catalyst for me to actually become a better person. In the times of Purim, before the miracle of Esther and Mordechai, the way the Jews reacted was despair. It was, oh my gosh, something's going wrong. I'm scared. I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm going under my covers. The end is nigh. There's nothing I can do about this. I'm throwing up my hands and saying, oh my gosh, they're coming to get me. And that's not a Jewish attitude. A Jewish response to seeing negativities, to facing jeopardy or problems without, and seeing our own problems within. Inaction, paralysis, a psychological freeze is something that it disables us. We want to channel even this negative feeling of fear or disappointment in ourselves and saying, I'm better than this, and I'm going to be better than this. That's a push to action. not a suppressive type of feeling that pushes us into paralysis. And this is a very important Torah attitude to life, because we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. The strengths should empower us and inspire us to expand them, expand on our victories. And the weaknesses or the failures need to be empowering and motivating forces for doing better. We don't retreat. We want to try and channel ourselves, channel our emotions in the right direction, but always towards action. Wish you a great day and active one.